This is the Scrap Metal and Commodities Recycling Report by BENLEE, Roll-Off Lugger, and Open-Top Trailers, and Raleigh Goldsboro Metal Recycling, Tuesday, September 6, 2016. In this report, last week, commodity prices were mostly steady, and economic reports show continued slow growth. U.S. steel production fell again, bringing U.S. steel production to the lowest level in many months. And frankly, the reason for this is pretty clear. Imports of steel into the U.S. have been rising for months, and in fact, July imports were a shocking 43% higher than they were just last February, only 5 months earlier. Related July rebar imports into the U.S. were the highest in many years. The G20 meeting in China ended over the weekend, which was a meeting of the 20 largest economies in the world. In a press conference yesterday, President Obama was asked if there was progress on the problem of major steel overcapacity in China, which is flooding the global markets at low prices. The president said it was discussed, and there was agreement that it was an issue. He said a working group was set up to review the situation, and they would report back next year. Oil prices rose 2% yesterday to $45 a barrel after falling about 4% last week, yet are up about 8% in the past month. Related, yesterday, Russia and Saudi Arabia, the two largest oil producers in the world, with the U.S. being third, signed an agreement to review oil markets, which caused upward pressure on prices. The oil rig count rose just one last week. In the past couple of months, we continue to see small increases, which again, while small, they continue to be welcome news for steel mills and drilling jobs after almost 18 months of crashing. Iron ore ended the week flat at about $59 a metric ton and about 3% for the month. Note, very low iron ore prices bring lower scrap prices due to at very low iron ore prices, major amounts of iron ore get converted to scrap metal substitutes. Iron ore prices are up about 65% from a number of months ago, so the rush to make scrap metal substitutes is less than it was a few months ago. This brings firmer scrap and finished steel prices if overall demand stays steady. Scrap steel prices remain steady at fairly low levels. There is little major positive or negative news, so with slow continued U.S. and global growth, slow flow into scrapyards, and some softening of demand, it's not clear what will happen to scrap prices this week. Hot-rolled coil prices had a slight decline for the week. One of their major markets, automotive, remains slightly depressed due to slightly less automotive production, and the number one selling vehicle in the U.S., the Ford F-150, is now made with an aluminum exterior. Related, of course, automotive sales for August were down a bit to about 16.98 million, an annual rate, which remains very high, yet it is less than July's 17.88 million rate. Stainless 304 scrap prices remain steady with no major news that's affecting the markets. Copper, which fell for almost 2 months, remained steady last week and closed at about $2.08 a pound, meaning it continues to trade in a tight range for about 10 months. And when looking at the copper inventory data, we see inventories are approaching one-year highs, which could bring stable prices. Aluminum finished down again at 71.5 cents and is now at about a 3-month low after trending up for almost a year. Related, aluminum inventories have declined a bit, which should be a stabilizing force for prices. On a positive note, 151,000 jobs were created in the U.S. last month as service-oriented jobs increased, but manufacturing, mining, and construction jobs decreased, which puts downward pressure on commodity prices. Lastly, for another positive, the U.S. balance of trade improved to the best level since September 2015, as export rose a solid 1.9% and imports declined 0.8%. With that, we hope all have a safe and profitable week. My name is Greg Brown.